Okay, let's see how you're doing on these. If you're not done, that's fine. We'll see how you've done so far on it. So we see the parentheses. Parentheses should always draw us in to do something there first. So there's more than one, so we're going to go left to right. So this one here, is there anything that needs to be done inside that set of parentheses? No, we cannot combine x to the fourth and x squared with subtraction. So then we have to see what we can do to the parentheses, and it's being multiplied by not 3x, but negative 3x. So negative 3x times 6x to the fourth, negative 18x to the fifth. Good. Negative 3x times negative 2x squared, positive 6x to the third. Good. Next set of parentheses, anything that needs to be done inside there? No. So it is multiplied by negative 5x to the third. Negative 5x to the third times 2x squared, negative 10x to the fifth. Negative 5x to the third times negative 7. Positive 35x to the third. Now we still have the 7x to the fifth at the beginning here, and the minus 9x to the third at the end. Those have not been involved in anything yet. So now, what can we combine? Like terms. 7x to the fifth can combine with negative 18x to the fifth. Positive 7, negative 18 ends up at negative 11, x to the fifth yet. But we also have a negative 10. So we've got negative 11 and negative 10 more is negative 21 x to the fifth. So it's best to do those two at a time, then add the third one to that result. Now for x to the third, we've got 6 and 35 make 41. And negative 9 ends up at positive 32 x to the third. How many of you got that? Any questions on how I got to it? No? Okay. And that is one of the bigger mistakes, is you do all the multiplying and stuff and you forget to bring these two down, or one of those two down. The other big mistake is people try to combine powers. All the time I'll get people to try to combine these and get 11x to the 8th. Can't do it. When you add or subtract, you got to have the same power to start with. And you always keep the same power. Okay, so today our only purpose is to review for our unit test coming up tomorrow. So we're going to go through the types of problems that you're going to need to know. Just so you know, we spent a lot of time with integers and negatives. I'm not going to throw any problems out there that are simply what is negative 42 minus 27, but they're going to be parts of the other problems. As you do other problems, you're going to have to know how to work with the negatives. So we're going to run into order of operations problems. Where you might need to know something like this. So what would I do with that? So I have to do the parentheses first. Good. Okay, so I can treat that as either a negative 3 times 39. Let me erase that. I don't know why I wrote 39 in there. Little hamster isn't on the wheel for the day. That was supposed to be 3 times 13 to get 39 at some point. So we are going to have to multiply. Again, you can treat that as a negative 3 times 13 or just 3 times 13. I'm going to treat it as just 3 times 13 because for me that's going to be simpler to view. So that's still a minus there. We haven't used the negative yet. 3 times 13 is 39. Now what? 51 minus 39 is 12. Now we've reduced the parentheses to a single number inside. I can get rid of the parentheses. Do I need to put any operations in when I remove the parentheses? No. I already have the division up front here. So now all it is 48 divided by 12 is 4. Perfect. We'll run into ones like this. So looking at this one, again we have parentheses, so we're going to start in there. What do we have to do first inside the parentheses? We're going to multiply. 4 times 10, which is 40. Now the rest of it has not changed. What's next? 5 plus 40 is 45. I've reduced what's in the parentheses to a single number, so I'm going to get rid of the parentheses. Here I do have to remember to do what? Put in the multiplication. What is next? Okay, now I've got rid of no more enclosing symbols, and there are no exponents. We do have to do multiplication, division, and we do have to go left to right. So we do run into the 2 times 45 first, which is 90. Then we do the 90 divided by 9, which is 10. Now this is actually a case where if we'd screwed up and did the division first, we'd still get the right answer, but it doesn't always work out that way. So 17 plus 10 is 27 plus 3, 30. Okay, any questions on that one? Okay. Something like this, what do we have to do first? We have to do the whole top first. So I've got negative 32 minus 4 times 3. Now here it probably would be simplest to do plus a negative 4 and do negative 4 times 3. But we're going to do the 4 times 3 is 12. So we've got negative 32 minus 12. And now we're going to have to change this to negative 32 plus a negative 12. And what do we get? Negative 32 plus a negative 12 is negative 44. Negative 32 and negative 12 both go the same direction. So 32 and 12 makes 44. Yeah, you could if you wanted to punch in your calculator, yes. Now for the bottom, what do we have to do first? (51) divided by negative 17 is negative 3. Next. Okay, you can do negative 4 times negative 2, or you can do 4 times negative 2, either one. This one, again, it probably would be easier to do, make that a plus a negative 4. If I leave it as 4 times negative 2, I get a negative 8. And it is going to be 3 minus a negative 8, which is going to be 3 plus 8, or negative 3 plus 8, which is 5. Which makes it apparent that I screwed that one up and it's not going to divide out evenly. But it ends up being negative 8.8 if we try to divide it out. They won't come out to decimals on the test, I promise. Any questions on that one? Okay. Or, I'm going to have you guys try this one. Try that one on your own quick. So what's the first thing we have to do? We're going to do the negative 4 squared. We're going to do the exponent, which is positive 16. Then what? 16 times negative 3, negative 48. And then you've got 13 plus a negative 48, negative 35. Now, there were 2 sets of parentheses in this problem to start out with, and we kind of ignored both of them. Thought we had to do parentheses first. In this case, these parentheses are not enclosing symbols. They are just separators. They're just separating out those negatives. They're not enclosing something that needs to be done. So what if we run into something like that? What do we have to do? Add like terms. So we'll start with the first one here. 8x combines with negative 5x, which makes 3x. Good. 2y and 9y, 11y. What's wrong with what I have written there right now? No symbol connecting them. It's a positive 11, so we'll put a plus in there. Try this one in your notes. Bless you. Bless you. So on this one, you see parentheses, so it's going to tell us we got to start there first. Is there anything we can do inside those parentheses? No. So then what we have to do to the parentheses is multiply by the negative 7. Negative 7 times 5x, negative 35x. Negative 7 times negative 4, positive 28. Now we've got minus 21 over here, It has to combine with the 28. They're both ones. They're both whole numbers, or integers, actually. So the negative 35x does not change. 28, negative 21? 7. Now again, it's a positive 7, so I got to put a plus in front of it to connect the two digits. Similar to the one we did to start off class. Nope, there's no equal sign in it, so that's it. The key is the ones we were doing here, the command would be simplify. When you see simplify, that means all you're going to be doing is combining what you can combine, but you're not going to be able to solve to get an answer for x. Okay? So when we get the command solve, then you're going to have to find an answer for x. So like this one here, we're asked to simplify this. What will be the first thing we have to do? Yeah, the parentheses, there's nothing to do in the parentheses, so we're going to multiply by the negative 5. So negative 5 times 2x, negative 10x. Negative 5 times negative 9, positive 45. Now we've got the 6x and we've got the 4. What can we combine? 6x and negative 10x make negative 4x. 45 and 4. Positive 49, so plus 49. That's it. So any questions? So again, those were simplify, which means combine what you can, and that's as far as you're going to go. Now another command you might be given is solve. If you're given solve, now this is where you're going to have to take the equation apart. Now the big difference, you see none of these that we just did have an equal sign in them anywhere. So we cannot get a value for the variable. If we're asked to solve, we're going to see something like negative 11x equals negative 77. What do we have to do to solve? X has been multiplied by negative 11, so we divide by negative 11. X equals negative 77 divided by negative 11, positive 7. Or we might have z minus 18 equals negative 35. What are we going to do there? We're going to add 18. So z equals negative 35 plus 18. It's negative 17. Perfect. You might end up with m plus 13 equals negative 24. What do we have to do there? Subtract 13. Good. M equals negative 37. Good. Or negative 8p equals 32. Divide by negative 8. P equals negative 4. So that is solve. So when asked to solve, you actually have to rearrange the equation, take the equation apart to get the value for that variable. Another command you might get is evaluate. Now, when you're asked to evaluate, you're also going to get a numerical answer. But when you're given evaluate, it means you're going to replace the variable with a set value. So you might be asked to evaluate m squared minus 5m plus 11 for m equals negative 3. So what this means is we're going to replace the m everywhere we see it with a negative 3. So m squared, negative 3 squared. Minus 5 times m is negative 3 plus 11. Now you'll notice, because the value that I'm plugging in is negative, I did put it in parentheses everywhere I put it in. So as I go through this, negative 3 squared is 9. Be careful on your calculators. We've gone over this before. If you just do negative 3 squared, it's going to try to tell you negative 9. And that is where I'd say 9 out of 10 students who get this question wrong on the test, that's the part they messed up, was squaring the negative. When you square a number, it is always positive. Your calculator needs it in parentheses so it knows what to do with it. So that is 9. Now here again, you could do negative 5 times negative 3, or you could do 5 times negative 3 and then be subtracting it. I'm going to change it to this as plus a negative 5. So that now that is negative 5 times negative 3, which is positive 15. Then what? Add them left to right. 9 plus 15 is 24. Plus 11, 35. Any questions? Never negative. Squared numbers are always a positive result. I'm going to have you guys try one in your notes. So try that one in your notes. Evaluate again. 2f squared minus 7f minus 13. 4f equals negative 6. See what you come up with. So everywhere we see the f here, we replace it with negative 6. Order of operations, there are no enclosing symbols. Those parentheses are just separating the negative 6's. There is an exponent. Negative 6 squared is positive 36. Now there's no more exponent, so we're going to multiply or divide left to right. 2 times 36 is 72. Now I am probably going to treat this as plus a negative 7 here. So that when I multiply there, negative 7 times negative 6 is 42. So this is 72 plus 42 minus 13. Now I can just add and subtract left to right. 72 plus 42 is 114. And then minus 13, 101. Perfect. Any questions? Okay.
How do you know when the enclosing symbols are just to separate and not?
If there's only a single number in it, that means it's just to separate it. The other time is if it's like up here, I can't do anything in here with that 2x minus 9. So that's not an enclosing symbol. So there's nothing I can do inside of it. So if there's nothing that can be done inside of it, it's not an enclosing symbol. You might be asked to evaluate something like p plus 3 times 2f minus x squared plus 21. For p equals 5, f equals negative 2, and x equals negative 3. So we're going to put in the values. P becomes negative 5. Now I could put that in parentheses, but since it's the first number, the first term in this, I don't really need to. Plus 3 parentheses. 2 instead of f, I'm going to put in negative 2, so I'll put that in parentheses. So 2 times f becomes 2 times negative 2. Minus x squared becomes negative 3 squared plus 21. Now here, this parentheses has stuff in it that can be done. They can be combined. So that is an enclosing symbol. Inside there, we look at other parentheses. Does this parentheses have anything to do in it? No, that's not an enclosing symbol. How about this one? Well, nothing to do in it, but I'm going to have to do something to it. So there's nothing to do in it, so that's not an enclosing symbol, so we're going to let that go for now. So now going back out to the red box, the bigger set of parentheses, I do have to do my exponents first, which would be negative 3 squared, which is 9. Now I get asked this one quite a bit on this example. How is that a negative 9? I just squared a number. Why isn't it positive? Well, the negative 3 squared did give me a positive 9, but this minus up front here is not part of the squared. That did not go away. That was separate from the x squared. Now inside the parentheses, I have multiplication. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Still in the parentheses, moving left to right. Negative 4 minus 9. Negative 13. Next. Negative 13 plus 21 makes 8. I'm down to a single number in the parentheses. I can get rid of it. I have to remember to the multiplication. Good. And then 3 times 8 is 24. And negative 5 plus 24 is 18. Good. So that is evaluate. So remember, you'll be told calculate. That's usually order of operations. So that will give you find a single number. Evaluate. Here you have to put in the values, but you are still going to find a single number. Solve. If you're asked to solve, this is where you're going to take the equation apart, and you're going to get a variable equals a single number. And then simplify. When you're asked to simplify, you're going to combine, but you will most likely not get a single number. You might have something like 3p squared minus 17p or whatever. You may end up, you might not have two separate terms like that. I might give you something like simply 9x times negative 3x. What would I do with that? Yeah, 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. Oops, 27. Negative 27, what? X squared, good. X times x is x squared. So I get a single digit, but it's not a number, just a number. It has a variable in it. It's not a variable equals a number either. So for simplify, you will not get a single number answer. You might be asked to express with symbols. For now, I'm just going to say express. Three less than 5 times a number. What does the 3 less than mean? 3 is being subtracted from something, yes. And it's being subtracted from 5 times the number, which would be expressed as 5x, 5n, 5y, whatever letter you want to use. We might have 5 times the sum of a number and 8. No, it's not 5x plus 8. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's 5 times the sum, which means the sum is the result of an addition problem. So that means we've done an addition first. So we're multiplying 5 times something else that's already been done. And what is it that's already been done? The sum of a number and 8, x plus 8. Perfect. The remaining problems on the test, the remaining types of problems on the test will be word problems. Well, make checks payable to the, no, just kidding. Unfortunately, life is a word problem, and what course you go on to from here, most all of them are going to be pretty heavy in word problems. I mean, the business math or math with business applications has a lot of word problems. The math reasoning has a lot of word problems in it.
Okay, question.
Sure.
I'm in the accounting degree.
Yeah.
Am I really going to be algebra and word problems?
You know, it all depends on how far you get into it.
An auditor.
An auditor, then you would need algebra. Use a lot of formulas for auditing. Because when you get into auditing, there are a lot of formulas that, okay, these things have to equal out, or typically this value should be a percentage of these values combined. So there are a lot of formulas.
So is it true that I have to go back to school to get my bachelor for auditing?
Yep.
When you go back to get your bachelor in college, you have to take algebra?
You'd have to take college algebra, yes. There's a good chance you'll have to take statistics as well. We do offer statistics here, by the way. It's offered online, but it's most likely slightly easier than what you would take at Eau Claire. Oh, Lakeland? The version of statistics, I've taught for them for years. I actually just quit in November. Their version of statistics is a little different, but it's about the same level of difficulty as ours.
Okay, I have a question
Yeah.
about the problem that you just said, whatever. About the P equals
Okay.
P plus 3,
Like
Yeah.
this one?
that one.
Okay.
So if you go down, and the whole negative 13 plus. Okay, wait.
So you got negative 13 plus 21, right?
Okay, I thought you put 2 like here. I didn't see
Nope.
So never mind.
I got
Okay.
29 in there.
You got 29? You just had a, you must have put a negative 8 in here instead of a positive 8. Or you had the 5 as positive.
Yeah, at the end I got 5 plus 24.
Yeah, you just dropped the negative off the 5 is all. It's a negative 5 and not a positive 5. Let's do just a couple of word problems here since we've got some time. Let's say if the perimeter of a rectangle is 52 feet and the length is 15 feet, find the width. Now, perimeter is one where we have a set formula. You okay? Those things are horrible. You have no idea how many times a day students hit those things. I bet. So perimeter is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. We are given P, the perimeter is 52, so we're going to plug that in. We are given L, the length is 15, so 2 times L becomes 2 times 15 plus 2W. We're looking for the width. So the first thing we have to do is combine and simplify. The 52 is just going to stay 52. But we can combine 2 times 15 to get 30 plus 2W. Now we can solve this equation. What do we do first? Subtract 30. 52 minus 30 is 22. Here the 30's gone, so we just have 2W. And then divide by 2. 11 equals W. Not all of the word problems are going to require an equation. Actually, very few of them are going to require an equation. Most of them you'll be able to do without writing out any sort of equation at all. Like you might be given a pallet weighs 18 pounds empty. And holds 32 boxes, each weighing 21 pounds. Find the total weight. So here we've got the pallet is 18. To that we're going to add the boxes. How much do the boxes weigh? 21 each times there's 32 of them. So 21 times 32 is 672. 18 plus 672, 690 pounds. There are 25 questions total on the test. 9 of them are word problems. Just so you know what to expect.
How do you know, I didn't see like the word problems with the perimeter stuff, when you have to do with square,
Okay.
like square.
If you're asked for an area, you'd be given, your answer would be in square units. Now you do have to be careful because there is going to be one. I'll give you a hint of a problem that is similar to one on the test. Let's say you have a post that supports 6,000 pounds, has an area of 15 inches squared, square inches. How many pounds per square inch? Does the post support? Here's one where there's squared inches in there. There is an area in there, but the answer is not asking for an area. But the units here can actually help you figure out what to do. Pounds per square inch looks like that. Pounds per square inch. If I look at those units, that looks like pounds divided by square inches, doesn't it? Well, guess what? To solve this problem, I'm going to take 6,000 pounds divided by 15 square inches. That's 400 pounds per square inch. So the units can help us figure out what we have to do with the numbers as well. So the problem with word problems is you can only get good at them by doing them. So the more you do word problems, the more you're going to find little cues that help you figure out what you have to do with it. Any other questions? Okay, now like I said, unlike the homework and quizzes that are on my math lab, the test, once I grade it, you will get to redo the problems you got wrong. I'll explain that more after I grade it and give them back to you next week. Remember, there is still a homework that was due today. There is not a new homework due for tomorrow, just so you know. There will be no new homework due for Monday. There isn't a quiz or anything today either. So all you have to do for tonight is get ready for that test tomorrow. Anybody who needs like a private room or anything like that, make sure you talk to me after class here so that I can get that set up for tomorrow for you.